guys, this is Chris with Atlanta Brick Co. and this is Between the Studs, our Friday morning podcast and vlogcast, and we have got some very interesting people with us here today. We just got back from Brickfair Virginia yesterday. Did everybody get back yesterday?
Yeah.
I know I did.
Yeah.
Ben.
I was probably the last one to get back. I didn't get back till about 9:30.
Yep. So we've got Daniel here. You guys all know Daniel. You guys all know Jillian. Jillian works at the store. Noah has been with us before on Between the Studs, but it's been a while because Noah's from Germany.
Been a hot minute, yes.
And Ben is from Australia, and this is his first time on Between the Studs.
Yeah.
So we've had a hard time. He's had a hard time getting here.
Yeah.
So.
But I'm here.
Yeah. So we're going to talk all about Brickfair Virginia 2022 today, and I guess. Noah, how'd you get there? Did you fly in?
Well, just like Ben here, I had to fly overseas, and first it was from Munich, Germany. That's where I am currently, and then I flew over to Atlanta and hung out with some of the Atlanta Brick Co. crew, and then took a trip up to Dulles. Pretty easy, I would say.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then, so you flying back to Germany from here?
That's right.
Great. Cool.
Yeah. So pretty nice because Atlanta is like a cool hub, so just like, very easy to get in and out. Obviously sometimes a little busy, but just in general, like, fairly easy, and I enjoyed my like pretty long layover because I got to hang out with some like pretty awesome people. So
very cool.
So.
Ben, how about you?
Yeah, so you had you said it was 11 hours your flight? Or?
It was total it was like, if you want to count layovers, like 20 hours. But I know it's nothing compared to what you guys do.
Not a competition.
No.
So I'm from Perth. So like if we're talking America, it's the LA versus the New York. So like New York is like Melbourne, Sydney, Perth is LA in that sense.
Gotcha. It's where all the movie stars live?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I mean Chris Hemsworth came there once.
That counts.
Yeah. So I went from Perth to Brisbane, which is 4 hours. Brisbane to LA, which was about 13. LA to Dallas, which was 4 hours, and then Dallas to New York. I stayed in New York for a bit, and from there I went to Virginia. Wow. So it was about 24 hours flying, probably like 36 hours like for everything, like travel and waiting and all that.
And then after Virginia, you came here, and then
and then now I'm going to LA after this to go to Disneyland. Yeah.
What other Lego stores or places are you going to in the Have you been in the United States?
So in New York, I went to the Fifth Avenue Lego store, which is a big like new renovated like double-story one with like this tree in the middle and stuff, which was awesome. They had the like make your own minifigure thing, which was really cool. Pick a Brick there was really nice as well. I went to the Flatiron Lego store, which is a bit of an older Lego store. Like a lot of the new Lego stores have the like clear Pick a Brick, whereas the old ones are like the circle. So they still had that, but it was nice. I love just going to Lego stores. It was a good one.
Yeah.
In Virginia, I didn't really go anywhere other than the actual con, but like there was enough there to satisfy me. Yeah. And then the only Lego store you need to go to in Atlanta is Atlanta Brick Co. So why would I go anywhere else?
Yeah. Or potentially in the United States, if you only have a chance to go to one Lego store. Yeah. This might be the one.
To be fair, it was the only Lego store I really wanted to go to. If I hadn't gone to one in New York, I would have been fine. So, yeah. They paid me to say this.
And you brought stuff all the ways from Australia to trade?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
Because I watch a lot of your videos and stuff, so
Awesome.
I was like, I want that experience,
Yeah.
And whatnot, too, from what I heard.
You brought a good bit of stuff, so...
Oh, good. Okay, I'm glad you liked it.
You had a little bit of a shopping spree, I'm sure.
I did, yeah.
What kind of stuff did you get?
I bought a few different like minifigures and things just that I've been like meaning to get. Like I bought a Bail Organa this morning, which is about $100 minifigure, but I'm just very keen on it. And, I'll remember that I got it here, sort of thing. I bought some Bionicle or the like Star Wars Ultra build, like Star Wars like construction figures and stuff, just because you guys had good prices. I'm making so much footage for the promo videos.
I'm trying to.
The prices at Atlanta Brick Co. are insane.
We didn't pay him, I promise.
Not trying to suck up to us.
Give him extra store credit or anything.
I got a few little like tiny pieces, like you had some like geodes and different things that I put as like, little details and mocks and stuff. Yeah, and then I did a pick a brick thing. Is that what you call it? I filled the canister with
Pick
Lego
a
and
brick.
stuff, and got some brilliant Lego in that.
What do you call it in Australia? Is it called something else besides pick a brick?
No, it's pick a brick. I wasn't sure if
Okay.
you had a different term to the
All
Lego
right.
store sort of thing,
All right.
but yeah.
I didn't know if it was pick a block
Nah,
there
yeah,
or
nah.
grab a block
Yeah.
maybe.
Well, our
Brick-a-brack.
Lego stores aren't. I think they are owned by
Mm.
Lego, but they aren't. Like, there's some
Yeah.
weird. I think you might know a bit more about that, Mark. But like, there's
The certified pre-owned ones?
yeah, they're
Or
not technically.
certified Lego stores.
Yeah, there's a difference
Yeah.
or something. Yeah, like my VIP points in Australia don't work here.
Mhm.
They're two different VIP programs technically,
Huh.
which is weird.
Okay.
But yeah.
Because the points are based on whatever currency you're paying in? Or
No,
Well,
'cause-
see, that's a weird thing because like they changed that back then. They had like a whole problem with that because there would be people that would buy things in the U.S. or vice versa, and like they would spend the points elsewhere because the points would be technically worth more in a different country rather than. So you would get points or more points if you spent your money or bought your sets in one country, and then you'd spend the points in another country, and then Lego made the system so that it would be more fair worldwide, so it would be all evened out, and then people couldn't I guess go against the system. I don't know,
So
like
thanks to
trick
those
the
people,
system.
it's incredibly complicated now.
Yeah. So like,
Yeah.
I don't know about that though. I didn't know that you guys
So
had
you-
like two different systems.
yeah, so you can use your
Yeah.
German
So,
VIP.
so I can collect
here.
points here. I can use my
Yeah.
points here. Yeah. I can
Right.
do all of that. No.
Because I remember before Australia had any Lego stores, I was at Brickfair Virginia in Melbourne,
Mhm.
and there was a Lego employee who came to do a talk, and a lot of people were asking like, well, when can we get one? And he was like, you have to understand, if you do, it won't technically be owned by Lego, but it will. I don't know the logistics. Hopefully, like someone in the comments or something can like fill in the blanks there. But
Yeah.
I think it's like Lego probably still makes profit or whatever from it, but it's owned by a different company
Well,
or something crazy.
It's unfortunate, but at least you have a store there.
yeah, precisely. Yeah.
It's a good question though to ask.
Yeah.
Like, at some point, like. Usually when I go to European conventions, one of like the staples to go to is Scareback, and like they'll have this big meeting or this big talk where people can ask questions and like talk to people from the Lego company, especially like marketing. So it'd be interesting. I'd probably ask them that question when I go there next because
Yeah.
that's something that is interesting. I didn't know that you guys have two
Yeah,
different
yeah.
systems.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
surprising to me.
And then, Jillian, tell us how you got there from Atlanta. And then let's go back and say why we were there.
Okay, I flew. I took a lovely flight. And then the reason I went is a lot of, I guess we can call ourselves I guess this will coin it, the Brick Talk community, the Lego TikTok community and content creators. We all got together and had a booth sort of so we could just show off some of our mocks, get to meet each other. I actually displayed a mock for the first time. I had been to brick fairs, brick rodeos, brick world, but never had displayed. So I kind of jumped out of my comfort bubble and did that, which was an amazing experience. And on top of that, I just got to meet so many amazing creators who I'd been duetting for years, like all through like the past 2 years. And so meeting each other for the first time.
And when you say creators, you're not talking about Lego creators.
No, I'm talking about Lego TikTok creators. So we all do TikToks over on the app, just surrounding Lego, and they also do YouTube, but just all around social media content creators,
Lego influencers.
Lego influencers,
Yeah.
if you would.
Very cool.
You see them on Instagram and TikTok a lot.
See them on
Chris.
Instagram,
Yes.
see them on TikTok, and they're all just amazing and as genuine in person.
Oh, yes.
Now, Ben, I know
Keeps
you
these
had a couple mocks there, right?
Yeah.
I saw your name on a couple of the mocks.
Yeah. So I just brought a couple like small Bionicles just because I like Bionicle and that sort of thing. I wanted to bring something bigger or just something like system because that's a lot of what I build with. But it was just a space issue. Like what I did, like this is a $2 shirt from Kmart in Australia. I deliberately bought very inexpensive clothes so that I could throw it out and have an empty suitcase.
Oh, that's
and
smart.
half of it has been
That's
filled by
Now,
Atlanta
do you do
Brick
that
Co.
too?
I just pack like
He's wearing a
limited
Hollister
amounts of
t-shirt.
clothes.
Well, actually, I know how you do it. You bring massive amounts of stuff to sell. You sell it, and then
Yeah.
you go back with them. Plenty of room for more stuff.
Correct. Yeah. So my strategy is like I buy stuff that I can buy cheaper over there, and then I sell that stuff here for more, than I can sell it for in Europe, and then I buy stuff that's cheap here and I can sell for more in Europe. So,
Yeah.
and it's an exchange of product. Let's put it that way. So
We
Yeah.
have a system.
there's a system.
There's a
That's right.
plan afoot.
So at the
Nice.
yard sale, Noah is the guy with the most employees or helpers or volunteers working for him.
Listen, loyalists. Let's put it.
He
Yeah,
had
well,
decor. He had
cult
banners
followers.
and everything.
Yeah, I might even. It was a really fun time with everybody. Like I know plenty of people that are there that are just great people out of the community.
Yeah.
And I just remember. I remember first year, obviously all the pieces and stuff that I bring, each year it always gets more and more. And so people usually will just tend to come up to me and be like, hey, if you need help, let me know. I'll be like, sure, no, it'll be great. And so then at one point, 7 people will show up and be like, hey, we're here to help. I'm like, I only really need 3 of you, but how about this? You guys run around and find things, or I don't know. There's a whole system.
You weren't even there when I stopped by a few times.
I was
Most
there.
of the time.
You mean the yard sale?
Yeah, the
or-
yard sale.
No, I had a table twice, both times.
Oh, yeah, I
Yeah.
didn't see. Yeah, I saw your table, but you weren't there.
The second
Okay.
time, he was like right in front
Yeah.
of like the brick chalk table, and we were just watching this mini store. Like he had an apron, he had an apron on at some
I was
point.
able to acquire a Lego apron, which was interesting.
You must have been there and just covered in people.
It was absolute madness. Like
Yeah.
I remember already at Brick World Chicago, I made a comment to a couple of people. I said like it was a feeding frenzy for people that were just interested into getting Lego pieces, because obviously Brick World hadn't been around for 3 years. Brickfair is on a similar basis, not as crazy as Brick World, but people were just going all over the place, like wanting to buy, which is great for business, but also just interesting from like an economic standpoint. Okay, where does all that stand, or why is that way? And I think that just has to do with like there's just a shortage of Lego because there's more people into Lego. And like I could go into all different directions. I think one thing that really has like fed that is the whole social media scene, and people like Jillian, plenty of the TikTokers, for example, have like brought a whole new generation of people into the Lego sphere, and so that also sort of boosts the entire Lego market. And I think it's totally interesting. I could go into all types of things with that, but I think that's like a key piece.
Yeah,
in
you're
the whole
right.
Lego
You're
market
right.
structure.
Especially with the quarantine the past couple years, of so many people have gotten into Lego.
Yeah.
In fact, Daniel just got into Lego last year, right?
Yeah.
Put you on the spotlight right now.
No, I'm actually. Somebody asked me how long I had been building the other day, and I told them about 10 years now. So
Yeah. Well, you had one of the most nostalgic mocks.
yeah, I got a lot of people who were very interested in my Lego Island mock, because I had the laptop set up playing the music, and that was really just triggering it for people. And you could tell as soon as people walked up which ones played the game and which ones didn't, because even people who didn't play the game would go, "Oh, that's cool." But anybody who had ever played the game as a kid went, "No way! That's insane!" I was like, "Yeah, did you play the game?" And they were like, "Yeah, I used to love this game." So yeah, a lot of people got a kick out of that one.
Citron.
Oh yeah, and Citron too.
Yeah.
Citron.
What was Citron? Was that a real thing?
We could probably do an entire video on Citron now that I finished it.
It was supposed to be a Lego theme.
It was supposed to be a theme. It was supposed to be
never
the
got
4th
released?
monorail.
Okay.
But since the first 3 were so expensive because they were outsourcing those electronic parts, they had to scrap the project before it ever came
So
out.
Citron was a mock that was at Brickfair.
Yeah, so I made I recreated the Citron monorail.
That was yours?
From the yes. We walked past
With
it.
the
I thought you knew that it was
background and
mine.
everything?
Yeah, that was mine. You didn't even know. I thought you
Chris
were
is just having a
Mind
shock.
What is
blown.
no, that
Oh
was
my God.
that was mine. Yeah.
You know he made the Yavin 4 mock as well?
Did you see the Yevon 4 one?
No.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I probably did.
I'll show you pictures of it later.
I
Yeah,
probably
the
did, wow.
Citron and the Lego Island were both mine.
And just to clarify, the Yavin 4 mock was another cancelled Lego project
Yes,
that never
yes,
came
correct.
out. That there's
Another
pictures in a visual
unreleased one.
dictionary or something.
Rest in peace.
Or-
Yeah,
Honestly,
the 2009, 10, something like
Sounds
that.
about right.
Visual dictionary.
I'll tell you, in the Star Wars section, the Jedi Temple really kind of
my
distracted
gosh.
me
Wow.
That's
from
fair.
anything else.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, that was
Understandable.
pretty awesome.
Understandable.
Very cool.
Noah, did you
Very
have bring any mocks?
I did. I brought some builds, or mainly I do Star Wars and Lord of the Rings,
Mhm.
obviously, but I decided to branch out a little bit differently, and I did bring my usual Star Wars vignettes that everybody's like sort of accustomed to seeing from me, and then I brought I don't know how to describe it. It's like a vignette mock, and it is like a Portuguese Spanish mixture of architecture. It's like some cool flamingos, some greenery, and it actually got the award for best vignette this year at Brickfair.
Wow!
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Very
So
good.
just like Daniel here, we are both Bricky, witnesses.
Yeah.
Yes.
So-
Daniel,
2 years running. 2 years.
2 years running, that's
Did
right.
you get anything this year?
I did. So I won the Bricky for Best Micro this year for my Knives Out mansion in micro scale.
Very cool.
So we both
Alright.
have won 2 years in a row now and set very high expectations.
Very
for
high
ourselves
expectations for next year.
We'll have to really bring out the big guns and see how long we can keep that streak going.
I think the best strategy is just to simply collab. You know, I mean, we could blow it all out of the water. I'm just
now we're
saying.
You could start your own love group, Brickies Only.
Brickies
Oh,
only.
yeah.
Let me go get that.
Only-
Let me go get that
only
Instagram
people
handle
with
real quick.
Only people with
Website
one
we're not
brick.
really-
Yeah, let me go buy that real quick. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jillian, did you win a Brickie for your mock?
So their mocks were amazing. No, I did not.
What was yours? Was Endor, right?
Yes, I did
Yeah.
a little display mock of Endor that sadly got knocked over halfway through.
How?
It was on the table and someone bumped into it before they really had put the little bars up to protect them. So we rebuilt it, but got knocked over again. So since it was Endor, I just flipped the card over and just wrote deforestation.
I saw that. I was wondering why it said that. Okay.
And put that back on.
You know
there.
what? I think somebody was jealous, and they knocked it over because they didn't want you to win their Brickie that they were trying to win.
I will tell you
Yeah.
that that was not the saddest thing that happened to me at Brickfair.
We're trying to
Oh,
keep this
no.
positive.
I know it's positive.
No bummers.
I lost all my Ewoks on the way
no.
there,
Oh,
On the plane?
going through security.
what did they confiscate your
They were in a
Ewoks?
bag, and they sort of they were in a box, and they picked them up to try to run it through the scanner. And I'm assuming that the bag had rolled out after then they retaped it up.
Oh
when I got
my
there.
god.
And I go to pull out my bag of 20 Ewoks.
That
they were gone.
is very sad.
So
Oh, wow.
I'll now be adopting 20 more Ewoks from Atlanta Brick Co.
Maybe we'll start a fund for it or something.
Yeah.
The darn TSA, they strike again.
That is something I was worried about as far as flying with a mock. Definitely. I was going back and forth whether or not I was going to put it in my suitcase and just send it through, or if I was going to do a carry-on. And maybe this just means next year I need to pack it in my suitcase very, very carefully.
Or just ship it ahead of time or something. Ship it separately.
Or just drive, because Daniel and I drove, and it's really not a bad drive, right?
Depends how much you like or dislike driving.
So we stopped on the way up in Charlotte and picked up a massive collection. It's out in the van still.
Yeah, I can't
even
wait
bring
to
it
see
in.
that because I saw the haul where you said it was a lot of 80s and 90s stuff.
A lot of
so
80s and 90s
I
stuff.
gotta see what's in
The
there.
old adventures, elephants, and stuff like that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and it was a very smooth transaction. He contacted us through our online selling and trading forum. I told him I was 5 minutes out. I get there, I back up to his garage. He opens his garage. He puts, we load up the car. I Venmo him. We're out of there.
Nice.
I mean, it was very good transaction.
You had it all ready in the
Trading.
bins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Double
Yeah,
agent over there.
Drive by. That was great. So Ben and then Noah. So Ben, have you been to a Lego convention in Australia?
Yes, yeah.
And I'm assuming your mock is pretty big there because
Yeah.
you can transport it
Yeah.
easier. What
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
mock would you bring to something in Australia?
Yeah, so the two I've gone to in Australia is Bricktober, which is in Perth where I live, and that's maybe 15 minutes from my house. I bring heaps there. And then in Melbourne, I tend to build castle stuff for Melbourne, and I'll build one half of quite a large diorama, normally about 3x2, 36 by 36 base plates. So it's pretty decent size. And then my friend who lives in Brisbane will build the other half, and we'll put it together on the day and display it. And normally those go into large suitcases that go with me on the plane. And that's stressful, but I've just kind of learned how to pack it now. But yeah, I tend to bring much larger stuff, but also I tend to build a lot of smaller vignettes and stuff. Very
So
similar to what Noah
you're
was
a
saying,
castle
so-
builder.
Yeah, and a
Okay.
bit of Star Wars and superhero as well, but
Okay.
castle's my jam.
And you're actually really all over the place when it comes to building mocks, because I've seen your page. Obviously we've talked for a while now over the years, gotten
Yeah.
to know each other there. You build a lot of superheroes. You've gotten really branched out with into building creatures and animals and such like
thanks,
that.
man.
I just think that it's interesting. Also, not only meeting somebody that is also from the vignette scene, so to
Yeah.
speak, but also you're in a little bit of a different setting, and I just think that's pretty cool.
Oh, thanks, man. No problem.
I had no idea that I had actually seen one of your vignettes before, and I had actually shared it on my Instagram story a long time ago. It was the
Oh, thank you.
Deadpool Zamboni one.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, one of the
I'll send you
classics.
photos if you want.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
One
Yeah,
of the
thanks, man.
classics.
I will
yeah.
say, each one of these fine gentlemen, they have been just building these amazing mocks. And probably, like you were saying, each one of them, I had no idea that you guys were the creators of these things. And then I find out, and I'm like, hoping,
Me too.
I hope I'm not fangirled about these things in front of them and look weird. But they're all very, very inspiring builders.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Much appreciated.
So, Jillian, will you go to another LEGO convention?
Hands down, yes.
What do you have
Hands
in the
down.
works?
I'm
Anything you're
thinking-
planning on?
I'm thinking, okay, so I did Endor, maybe Hoth. Try to
Okay.
cover all the different planets of Star Wars. Thinking that may be fun. I don't know, maybe diving into the vignette vibe, maybe the next thing to do.
Do that.
Nice. Yeah.
And any conventions up next for you guys?
Everyone
that's a
keeps
good
telling me to
question.
come back to Brickfair, which I would love to. Yeah, but money.
Yeah.
Money.
But if I can, absolutely. If not, Brick World in Chicago would be really nice.
Yeah.
But if not, probably just staying in Australia because of, again, money. But yeah, whatever I can do because it's like pizza. Even if it's bad, it's still pretty good for a LEGO convention.
It's hard to
Yeah.
mess up pizza.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
conventions,
I don't know.
just
Lego
like
Caesars,
pizza.
Little Caesars managed to do it.
Oh, I like
Bird,
those.
okay.
Okay, Chris. All
There
right.
goes our brand deal with Little Caesars.
Yeah. Strike that one off
We're on
the
the
list.
phone right now.
No, how about you?
I've got several more to go this year before I head to bed, so to speak.
Now, so at the European conventions, do you sell there as well?
No, I do a lot more of just like connecting with people there.
Mhm.
I mean, I could if I
They
wanted
let
to.
you sell there?
It's not like in the U.S. It's a lot different with that, and just because like I'm a lot nearer to those people and like I know them a little bit better, I don't really want that to be the focus. Like I don't mind buying and selling, doing business. That's obviously one of the things that I really appreciate about the LEGO hobby because not only do I get to benefit, the people that are I'm selling to get to benefit. Like they get something really cool out of that. But like when it comes to Europe, I like to mainly focus just on my builds and like the stuff that I'm bringing to present and just talking about LEGO and life because I think that's more or less like the focus for other builders that are there. And like when it comes to business, I don't know, it's a bit different. It's like if I bring it over here, people are like, oh yeah, that's a typical thing. Let's trade here on the table, like, or let's trade here behind our creations or whatever, or out and about like on a public area. But like there in Europe, it's like, I don't know, it's a bit different. It's just, I don't even know how to describe it. It's just like less common over there. So
Huh.
like, I know in Norway, for example, I went to a convention there with some people from my lug, and that was a convention where you can do that at because they're like all open to it. Because in Norway, it's a bit difficult to get Lego, and they have all these different taxes and laws and such that just makes the cost of Lego so much higher. So there it's different, but like if I'm bringing it to Germany or if I'm bringing it to a convention, let's say in the UK, it really depends on like the area I'm going to.
Mm-hmm.
So I love to do that, but if anything, I'm going there mostly to buy. So
Oh, okay.
yeah.
So I'd have a tough time over there in Europe.
No, okay. So here's the difference between
Where, like, people
you and
open up
me in
their
this case.
trench coat.
Yeah, exactly.
There you go, like,
In a dark alley.
I think a very big difference is like you have a storefront that is known. Like you're not known for a mock builder or being a mock builder. You're known for being like the one that leads Atlanta Brick Co. in this case.
Mhm.
I have not multiple personas, but I have multiple like faces of who I am. I'm not only a mock builder. I'm also a person that likes to do business. But like people like to mix that together and fumble it and just be like, oh, he's all these different things. Where in reality, when I'm talking to someone that is a mock builder, I want the focus to be, hey, let's talk about mock building. Let's talk about the LEGO community. Let's talk about collecting and all the different aspects to that.
Mhm.
Now, if I'm talking with somebody with business, that's totally fine to do. But I just don't want people to like associate that together because the other thing that then additionally comes on top of that is, hey, that person might be just talking to me to take advantage of like this and that, and I've seen that in the past, and like I don't want them to think, no, I want those two to be separate just so people know, hey, there is a mock building or there's a collector side of me.
Mhm.
So it's very compact, like all the different details as to why, but like that's the best way I could describe it. So
Yep.
But
Daniel,
hopefully
how
that makes
about-
sense. Yeah.
How about you? What's your next show and what's your next mod?
I'm probably done for this year. There's one, I think, in the fall, the Brickfair, the new one up in Exton, Pennsylvania. I don't think I'll be going to that one, though, so I'm probably looking at next spring. Atlanta Brick Con is going to be definitely an up-and-coming convention for
In
sure.
February. We were talking that up a lot at
Yeah.
the convention. And a lot of lug groups are very interested in coming, so we're talking about making it a full event.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, absolutely.
not that I have any say in it, but
Well, right.
I'm trying to. We're not organizing it, but we know the organizers, and we're trying to push him
Yeah.
to make it a.
Because there's
A
definitely
5-day
a
event.
lot of people who will be looking for a convention in that time of the year in the southeast part of the country. So
Exactly. And are there any specific mocks you got in mind?
for that one, I could probably take anything that I took to this one. Since it's so close, it'll be easy to get to and transport things to. There's a couple other things that I didn't quite finish in time for Brickfair. So maybe if I get some time, I'll finish some things up over the winter before then.
Okay.
And then we'll have Brickfair Virginia again next year, and then there's also there's the Brickfair Fredericksburg is going to be a new one. That's going to be
Fredericksburg, Virginia.
Yeah, also Virginia, and I think that's maybe later spring. I'm not sure. I'd have to double check the dates on that one.
Sweet.
All right, so Brickfair, Virginia has 2 yard sales. The yard sale's so popular, it has 2 yard sales.
Hundreds of tables.
And I told somebody, I was talking to a friend of mine up there, and I said, yeah, so Thursday, is going to be the slower day because people are going to hold out for Friday. And then
Saturday,
Friday,
yeah.
or Saturday, yeah.
Saturday in
And
this
then
case,
Saturday, they're gonna sell all their stuff because they don't want to bring it home. So Saturday is gonna be the big day. Thursday is gonna be the day. Thursday ended up being slamming.
Bonkers.
I bought a lot more
I
the first
couldn't.
day.
I couldn't believe it. It was so strange. And then, because in the past it has not been that way.
Yeah.
And then Saturday was actually a little slow, in my opinion. What was the best find? Let's start with Jillian. What was the best find you got at the yard sale?
I completed my Star Wars clock collection. So Star Wars, they came out with these like giant like minifigure clocks, like digital clocks, and if you like tap the head, they light up. And there's a bunch of them that came out, and I've been missing Vader now for about a good 3 or something years, and I found one, and I just made a beeline to it, and was like, "Here's my money. This is
Can you
completing
tell
my
us how much
collection."
you paid for it?
Yes, $10.
That's a steal.
Whoa.
That's pretty good.
$10 as soon as
That's
I
a deal.
I made the
Yeah.
beeline ready to pull out maybe like 25 or maybe 30. I see a 10 on there and I'm like, done.
I would have bought it for 10. So
And
it's
I
a good
was-
thing you
Yes.
got that.
I was well, it's also just like the satisfaction of knowing that would complete the collection.
Did you see the guy there selling the 3D printed lightsabers for the clocks?
Yes, him and I had a lovely conversation
Did you
just
buy
about
one?
No, we just talked about 3D printing cuz
Okay.
I also have a 3D printer. So we talked about just how interesting that has been within
Mm-hmm.
the little Lego community.
So
But-
these lightsabers are like this big.
Yes. Then he had a few different, I believe, handle colors and then a bunch of blade colors you could choose
Mm-hmm.
from. They were very interesting and very tempting. Darth Vader almost had a pink lightsaber.
They were
For a little
$5.
I know, but we still had Saturday.
Mhm.
We still had the Saturday. I had like enveloped what money I'm going to spend on what day. That didn't work.
That's the other thing
Didn't
is
work.
on
The
the
budget.
Thursday people have more money to throw around, whereas on Saturday they
Yes.
go, "Oh, I spent too much money. I need to reel it back
That was
in."
me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I
yeah,
saw
I
you
know
buzzing around.
I was buzzing around a little bit.
I mean, I was just happy like walking around with my clock.
In years past, I like to let people get the deals they want and then get out of the way, and then I'll move in and buy up what's left.
Okay, you have a strategy.
So this year, so usually I go around like 6, 7, 8 times. This year on Thursday, it took me an hour to get around one time.
Once, yeah.
And that's very rare, and I did buy a lot in that first hour. So, anything else? Any other deals?
I don't think so. It may come to me. I feel like I bought a few posters, like
Mhm.
posters that have come with like a bunch of like I know some Star Wars one, some exclusive like only buy with this set, and it comes in the
Mhm.
box. I bought a few of those, and those are now going to go get framed very soon and put on the wall.
Very good.
Nice.
Ben, how about you?
Yeah, so I was telling you before, I found a goat for $50.
That's right.
Oh.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a deal.
Yeah. That's
That's
Daniel
better than
got-
my deal at Chicago.
Daniel got one in Chicago for a good price, but
Nice.
that was
That beats
was
it.
definitely-
Yeah. Because yours is like 150. I think I already had bought one, unfortunately, and paid about the same. But yeah, I left one.
Well, you need
there
a
were
pair.
two.
Yeah.
So I don't know who bought the other one, but you know.
Well, that's nice
yeah.
of you to leave one.
Yeah,
'cause
yeah.
I would have bought
Yeah.
both of them.
I got scared because like $50 is a lot for one piece, but I was like, this is really good.
He's a sportsman.
Yeah.
This wasn't me who got it, but I had a friend. So he bought this little like box that had an old like Matoran Bionicle set in it, and he bought it because there was a cape piece in it from a Bionicle set called Vizon. Now this cape's worth like $40. And he said, would you take, how much do you want for it? And they're like, I don't know, $2. He's like, yep, absolutely. So he paid like $2 for a $40 cape. He then opened up the box, and inside was about a sort of $30, $40 Bionicle mask. So he got insane deals for $2. You know, it was amazing.
It's nuts.
Yeah.
So taking a quick break from the deals, because now I'm sure you bought some stuff, but Bionicle at Brickfair is a whole nother topic.
Oh my gosh.
Bionicle's
Yeah.
interesting this year.
Insane.
Let's talk about Bionicle in a minute. Let's go ahead and finish the yard sale.
Sure.
All right.
I'll put a pin in that.
Come back to it.
What else, Ben? Did you get anything else?
I actually bought a Bionicle. I paid $30 for a Bionicle called a Diki. It's probably, I would say, is about a $40, $50 set. So I was pretty happy with it. And a store had some of those like I call it spring green. It might have a proper color of leaves that come in the Ninjago Sea garden set. I think you paid like you paid $3 for 10 or something. I was pretty happy with that. That's all I can remember. But I remember getting a few good deals. But still, the goat tops it for me. So
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good find.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Almost as good as mine.
Oh, okay.
So it is a competition.
There is a reason he's at the very end.
Yeah, he started on the
Yeah.
first. I already know.
Nothing.
Nice.
Noah.
Well, I focused more on selling this one around, but I did get a couple of good deals. I think the first thing that I acquired was there was a Han Solo minifigure with the yellow face, and he has the reddish-brown legs, and I don't know what the figure number is right now, but all I know is that I was looking at the vendors, and I found that one for $5, and they said, oh, well, today's exhibition day, or for a day for the exhibitors, so they said, we're doing $1 off each minifigure. So I was like, okay, that's pretty cool. $4 for a Han Solo with that. I wouldn't mind paying that. Looked it up later on Bricklink, and apparently it's an $80 Han Solo figure.
It might be the Cloud City one.
It's not the Clouds. Actually, it might be the Clouds. I don't know which one exactly it was. All I know is that I was shocked when I found out. Oh, okay, because I'm trying to find also the older ones at the same time because I'm trying to complete a collection of all the Lego Star Wars figures. So for $4, I was like, that's an easy deal. The only other one I can think of deal-wise that I got was I did a trade with someone who wanted a Bark Trooper and an Inquisitor without the helmet. It's one of the older ones from Rebels for a Jango Fett with angry face. Ooh. Yeah, and that Jango Fett with angry face is like $250 right now.
It's insane.
So I was like, that sounds like a fine I let him make the trade, and I said, that sounds fine to me, I'll do the trade. And then I looked it up again, and I was like, okay, that's a surprise for me. I already have one, fortunately, but the other one will probably be traded for another figure I need, so we'll see how I do that.
Good stuff. Let's see. At the yard sale, I got a Power Miners set that I never got when I was a kid. One that I missed out on. It was a limited edition one with the big green wheel, and it's got like a little basket that it carries up.
Loved that set as a kid.
Interesting set. One that I remembered seeing in the store and never picked up as a kid. So it was one of those ones I was like, well, shoot, I better get it.
That's cool.
Got a pretty good deal on it because it was in used condition. So I'll probably have some nostalgic times with that.
Yeah.
I got a couple of Adventurers Dino Island sets. That's not really one that I've collected very much. One of the sub-themes from Adventurers. The best thing I think I got, though, was the 10123 Cloud City set with no minifigs. So now I'm in a dangerous position of having to collect the rest of the minifigs. I have one of them. I have the most important one, but I'm now in a position to be to probably I'm just gonna stop there.
Now I thought you had something else.
Oh yes, that's
you
right.
brought
I did
something for
forget
show
about
and
this.
tell.
Yes.
After the Galador watch party, we all said which Galador figure we would buy if we were going to buy any one of them, and I said that Jens was the one that I would get. So I got my hands on a Jens Galador figure. I just think it's hilarious how you turn these knobs.
That's cool.
on the side
I
of
didn't
his
know
head.
that.
In the show, he would do that when he was surprised or agitated by something. He'd be like, "Whoa!" and his eyes would go in and out, and his hair would go up and down. So he's a goofy character, but glad to get my hands on him.
Yeah, be sure to keep that away from Mark. You know. He's
Oh yeah,
very,
no,
very
I think he
addictive.
has
I
just
need
about
3
all
of
of them
them.
now.
Very addictive.
Mark
Yeah.
is just beaming behind the camera right now.
Yeah. His face lit up as soon as I pulled that out.
I'm sure they heard it. Yeah.
Okay, Chris, go ahead.
Chris, go ahead and flex
Okay.
on us. My
Uh-huh.
goodness.
We
jeez.
bought more than we sold, and we brought back way more than we brought. So I couldn't even bring it all home in our big cargo truck. I had to give some to my father-in-law to bring down in 3 weeks when he comes. That's it. We just bought a lot of stuff. Jillian, there's a shield right there. Can you pass that around?
This is cool.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
He's gonna
This
tempt-
was a
These-
sight to see.
Gonna
These
tempt me
shields are
again.
really cool. Somebody is now making those for us, a friend of Mark's, and we're selling them, exclusively selling them for him. And it is metal, it's solid, it's bulletproof, airsoft bulletproof.
Oh, really?
Yeah, well, you should probably start with that word.
That will be another video. That will be another
Pellet
video.
proof, I think, is the technical term.
It's Nerf proof.
Yeah.
Sounds
Yeah.
like a Grant and Vogan video.
You give that to them.
Hey, let's start low and go high and see how many different types of bullets it stops.
I made Ed that little Jar Jar cap. I'm sure I can throw something together for
Well,
castles.
that would be the clickbait thumbnail. Is are these Lego shields bulletproof?
Yeah.
Here's a video of just one of them crying in the corner. Not
And-
like
Man down, man down.
So we got the Black Falcons, yellow, blue, and then we got the Wolfpack shield.
I really like.
And
the
then he's
Wolfpack
gonna
one.
make the Lion Knights and Dragon Knights.
I will say
So-
they were walking around the expo center in
Mhm.
full costume, and
Yep.
like everyone did like a double take of, did I actually just? And then as soon as I ran up to them as someone who's into cosplay, I was like, this is amazing, this is brilliant. They're like, yeah, we're just headed over to the Atlanta Brick Code table. You ever heard of them? And I'm kind of like, maybe, maybe.
Who's asking? I'm thinking Ren Fair next year.
Oh yes.
Mark found this, in the van as soon as we got back and stashed this.
Well, I will
in the
say I
corner.
immediately
You wanna-
texted Mark as soon as I saw this, and I'm like, dude, this is happening.
Ugh.
Multiple people texted me pictures.
Yeah.
So
And
beautiful.
some of the highlights that we got some exclusive minifigures here. We got the female store employee, goes for a couple $100 probably.
Mhm. 300, $400.
And then about 300.
Yeah.
And then we got this guy. I had never seen him before. And it says, on Bricklink it says 1 of 200. And it's, on the back it says Cladno. It's got the Lego logo and it says Cladno. And on his chest he's got a Lego head pencil holder with a notepad or something. And Daniel looked it up. Cladno
I
is
think
the
Noah did. Was
Czech. It's
Yeah.
the Czech Republic factory.
That's right.
So that's a pretty rare figure. And then this one right here is just super rare. I would guess 1 of 200. It's one of the Managers Conference minifigures. And there's a zombie Lego store employee, and that was the Dallas Lego Brand Retail Managers Conference figure. Probably from, I'm guessing, 2017, and he's really famous because he's a zombie. Well, this one's name is Zach. And he's just kind of normal looking guy.
I think maybe it's like a modern interpretation of Zach. Wasn't Zach the Lego Maniac?
That's right.
Oh,
That's right. Yeah.
So I think that's kind of a-
a modern
Yeah.
Zach. Okay.
30-year-old Zach.
Because the old one was a very cartoonish guy in the magazines. So.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, so that's a very, very rare minifigure. Probably more rare than the San Diego ones. And that goes for probably around $2,000. Wow, but
that's nuts.
he's so rare that there is no sales history
Wow.
for him, so he's kind of hard to value.
Because you had to be a brand retail manager
Yeah.
or whatever to get one and be at the conference.
Everyone that went to the conference actually, so there were less than 100 Lego stores
Yeah, well,
in 2017.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
yeah,
there should be less than 100 of them. Then,
Yeah.
right?
Probably.
yeah.
Well, some
Unless
stores
they-
have 2 managers, so it could be like in the mid,
Like
anything less than a 200.
A co-manager.
Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah.
Well, now there's another asterisk with that too. You had to be a Lego store manager and also willing to give up your exclusive minifigure that you
Good
got
point.
at the conference.
Yes.
True.
Yeah.
Because
Wow.
if you're a Lego store manager, you probably like Lego and
Yeah.
would want to hang on to something like
Great
that.
point. Yeah.
So the
You never
handful
know.
of sellouts that actually.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And same with Comic-Con figures, though.
True. Yeah.
So that's
Wow.
the best thing. The single smallest, most expensive thing. I did bring back a ATOT with dropship.
Wow.
Yeah.
Was that unsealed or was that?
No, it's built with instructions.
Okay,
Nice.
So,
but still an
I
impressive
haven't even
set. Yeah.
dug into that yet.
And the minifigures as well, or
No, but I think they're common minifigures.
Yeah, I think so too,
Yeah, it's just the
Yeah.
Clone Troopers, the
Cool.
regular
Yeah.
phase one. Yeah.
nice.
So that's a pretty notable one. We haven't had that one in 3 years probably.
Yeah.
So
Pricey set as well to like even get together. I assume
Oh,
with
yeah.
box in that case, or is it just
actually we have the box too. Yeah.
Oh, you have the box.
Yeah. So
There you
we'll,
go.
We'll do a certified pre-owned job on that one.
That's very nice.
Nice.
Very
So
nice.
yeah, the the yard sale is my most fun part of Brick Fair. What was your guys' best moment at Brick Fair this year? Jillian, do you have one?
Just meeting everybody. I would feel like just making new friends, meeting just a whole community, just all around Lego fans is always just such a great experience. And it's also very sad to leave. But then, next year, and that immediately sucks you back in. But definitely just meeting everybody, meeting you two was definitely a highlight. So yeah, the community, I would have to say.
Very cool.
I might second that. There are a lot of friends in the Barnacle community who I met there who I've known for years and never seen, and it's like, oh, that's what you look like, or like, just being able to see mocks that I've just been obsessed with online and seeing it in person, being able to look at it and touch it and examine it. And also I think that's something that I don't necessarily always get in Australia is a lot of the builders that I look up to, like Noah, on the internet. They just don't come to Australia, or there's some Australian builders I look up to who are online, but it's like one or two, being able to physically be in the same room with them and talk to them and hang out with them is really, really special. So that was lovely.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, at the end of this one, actually, I decided to go up because Todd was yelling at everybody. He's like, hey, listen, if you have something to say and you want to say it to an audience, because once I give these sets away, because he always does like door prizes at both the opening and closing ceremonies, he's like, come up to the front. And I guess I'll just sort of repeat what I said there. I said that I've gone to many shows all around the world, and I think that like Brick Fair, especially this one, there's so many moments I could talk about, or not also talk about, but there's a lot of moments, that felt very special to me. I would definitely say that this is, after all the ones that I've gone to, like top 3 shows ever that I've ever gone to. And it felt very special. Like obviously, talking to people that are builders from the community that you've known for a while, and then finally meeting them in person is great. And then also, meeting people, new and old, is something that just, it touches you in the heart, gets you there. And I don't know, it's such a great moment to be there. Especially one of the highlights, I guess I will say, was like, just talking in general. That's a conversation, because you can have so many conversations with these people, and people are at times like, there are certain groups that are there that you're a little bit shy or don't want to really talk with a lot of people, and I can get that. But then there are those moments where it just clicks, and then you can go off for hours, and it's just fantastic. Like, it's like a flame. Like, once you spark it, it just shines brightly. So
That's awesome.
that's for me. Yeah.
This being my really only second convention, well, the second time going to Brickfair Virginia as an adult and exhibiting, when I went last year, I didn't hardly know anybody. So, I made a handful of friends there, and then getting to see them again after not seeing them for a year, and just being able to pick up like right where we left off, and checking out each other's mocks and being supportive of each other was really cool. And a lot of the friends that I had made last year, some of them were much younger builders, and seeing how much their techniques had developed just over the course of a year was really phenomenal. And some of them had started winning Bricky Awards and things. So it's just great to see these friends that you can stay in contact with and message the rest of the year, but getting to see them again and hang out is really special.
So you're 2 for 2 with Brickies.
Yep.
So
Sheesh.
yeah. So you've got high
Yeah.
expectations
Exactly.
for next year. You
Exactly.
better come strong,
Apparently, yeah.
and you'll have a hat trick.
There you go.
You don't want to break
Yeah.
the streak. You got
Yeah.
this.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
We gotta go for 3 for 3, Daniel. That's
I mean,
just how it is,
you know, I'm like looking through all the list of registered attendees, seeing people who have never won a Brickie, and I don't know how many years they've come for it. I'm like, ooh, and I mean, just to get 2 in a row, I guess I'm doing something right.
Yeah.
Or I almost feel kind of bad for people, but I know how the process kind of works and the techniques and things that they kind of look for. So I'm very fortunate and honored to receive those awards for some things that I'm very proud of building.
That's cool. The for me, I knew it was going to be a good convention on Wednesday when I got there, around 5 o'clock. Usually Wednesday, nobody's there. Like those few people that can somehow get off work and go set their mocks up early. Maybe like 24 people. But this Wednesday, were you guys there on Wednesday?
Yep.
Yeah.
Holy cow! I walked in at 5 o'clock and it's like full-on convention time. I mean, probably over half the mocks were set up. Over half the vendors were set up. It was. I talked to Todd, the organizer, about it, and he was like, "Yeah, I can't believe this. It's awesome." So
People are just ready to get back into the convention mood. I mean, after
Yeah.
being locked
Yeah.
in for almost 2 years, or some people even 3 years at this point, it's like, hey, let's go all the way, because you want to be there with those people, and it's great. It's great.
well, how about okay? Let's talk Bionicle really quick.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, here we go.
So
Bionicle
everybody
Day.
that goes to Brickfair Virginia knows that it is the heaviest Bionicle presence. Why is that?
That's a good
That's a
question.
good question. Yeah.
Now it does.
Yeah, Ben, I think you'd be most qualified to give us an answer to that,
Um,
I don't mean to put you on the spot, but you have
it's
to
okay,
answer this
yeah.
now.
Because that was why I came. Well,
Okay.
there were many reasons I
Well,
came, but that was a big reason. The second biggest reason to me, no one. Yeah, because I mean, like, I could have gone to Brickworld or something for like just in terms of like cool mocks and scale or whatever. But like, just because I love Bionicle, that was certainly played a big part. Why? I don't know. I mean, like the Bionicle lug that I'm a part of, which is EP lug or extra piece lug. A lot of us came, so maybe it was also kind of an element of just like, a couple people are coming. Well, let's make this a thing and all come together. And there was about like 20 of us in that lug, which certainly like added to the numbers. Why? I don't know.
Because it's
it
always
kind of-
been.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
always had that reputation, and I guess that maybe just people kind of feed off of that, I suppose. I don't know. I mean, I was talking to Mark before about how like different states in America will have different things that people gravitate to. Like military's also really big here in Brickfair, Virginia,
Yeah.
sort of thing. So maybe it's just kind of localized. A lot of people happen to be around this sort of area and come towards it. Yeah. Wish I had a better answer. I don't know. I never thought to ask that.
I think
to
it
different
really,
people, yeah.
I mean, you already said one part, which is I think it has to do with like the different areas and what
Yeah.
people are interested in.
Yeah.
Another convention that has been on my bucket list for the longest is BrickCon
Yeah.
over in Seattle.
Same.
Like that one, I remember watching videos of tours and such. There's a very cool documentary out there that somebody did from the New York Times. It's my favorite one that has to do with Lego at all. And he was like filming a bunch of footage over about the creations there at BrickCon and whatnot. And I see also a large like Bionicle presence over there,
Right, yeah.
like a huge presence of that. And like
Yeah.
they talk, I mean, they're very nerdy over there too. So I think it really has to do with like the zoning or like the areas where they are, because I mean it's
Yeah.
easier to get in as well to like the East Coast, because people can come over from Europe, or like if the people want to come, they just like all come from their different
Yeah.
states over there. So it's not a far drive or far flight in that case for
That
most
makes
people.
sense. Yeah.
But I don't know. Yeah, maybe it has to do with
My-
like just the area.
My theory has always been that comparing it to Brickworld Chicago is that Brickworld Chicago has a higher median age builder.
Fair enough.
A lot of adult, more
Yeah.
30s, 40s, 50s, 60s builders, whereas in Virginia there are a lot more 20-somethings,
Yes.
and those 20-somethings are into Bionicle.
Yeah.
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 So I
Good
love
idea.
Bionicle. That's, all my photos from the convention are Bionicle.
Oh, good.
I
Nice.
mean, it's
yeah.
just I can't speak the language.
Yeah.
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 but I do really like Bionicle a lot. So it was interesting also at the yard sale. Everybody knows that Bionicle is such a big thing that I think they brought their Bionicle to sell it because there's so much Bionicle for sale, and it was actually a pretty good price. But I did notice nobody was buying it.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
I saw at least 4 tables at the yard sales that were like strictly Bionicle parts people.
One thing I heard was that in some of the earlier brick fairs, people were bringing Bionicle, being like, I don't really want this, like hopefully someone buys it. And then the Bionicle people would come and be like, oh, I want this. And they get it for super cheap because the people would be like, I just don't want it, like just take it, you know?
Yeah.
And now they're learning that the Bionicle people will be there and like it, and then they jack the prices up a bit. So maybe that's why some of it wasn't going. But to be fair, some was very cheap, you're very right.
Good thought.
Yeah.
Now I did buy Bionicle.
Good, nice.
Brought back a lot of masks. And
nice.
Got some sealed sets.
Ooh, nice.
So, some interesting stuff.
It's the same thing for me. Like I'm not really into Bionicle that big. Like I had a whole tub full of Bionicle as a kid. You know, I played with it with my brother. You know, so it was a whole thing for me too. But like I'm not really into all the different nitty gritty details of Bionicle. Like I know that there's masks that are literally worth like $2,000. Like I don't know how. They're rare.
I think
but like a lot of them are from Europe.
Individual Lego piece is a Bionicle mask.
Yeah.
It's a titanium or something like
Oh,
that.
no, probably that one.
Maybe.
Yeah.
What's funny about those is like a lot of those stem from Europe. Actually, a lot of those like rare Bionicle pieces do stem from Europe. Some people I've talked to, they've like showed me like different pieces about that, and they've been like, there's literally Instagram pages and Flickr pages all about like dedicated to showing you the different pieces that are the rarest.
Yeah,
I'm shocked about it sometimes.
It's insane how much the price of it, some of it's gone up. Like there's a lot of Bionicle masks that are misprints, but they're very known misprints. Like they're quite common, relatively speaking. They're still worth a bit. Like there's one sort of trans yellow Bionicle mask that I have, and I remember as a kid I paid $10 for it, and I was like, it's so much money. Like, oh, what am I doing? Now it's about a like $150, $200 mask, and you know.
And 3D printed Bionicle masks were a big thing.
Yes.
A lot of stores they do
Which
that.
Custom painted.
They are really cool looking masks.
Yeah, for sure.
Jillian, you're probably not like a Bionicle fan.
A little bit.
But you like everything.
Yes, I do.
So what's your opinion of Bionicle at Brickfair now?
People were telling me, listen, do not expect this like size of Bionicle like at any other Brickfair. And I was kind of like, okay, how big is this actually gonna be? And I was not prepared. I was like, they're taking up like full like spaces. Like some of them had like a sofa behind their booth. Like they were there to be all together and like at their table. So it was just amazing to see just like how passionate communities can get over this and how great it is to see them all come together. Like I know the Brick Talk, we were like, that's brilliant. Like they probably have done this so many times. They know, let's bring a sofa and put this behind our table. So it was overwhelming, definitely. Like I feel like at least at every corner of the hall there was something Bionicle, which was pretty impressive to see, I will say. I ended up actually talking comics with some of the people because I was a fan of the Bionicle comics, and I still am. I still have them. So getting to talk about that was interesting, and sometimes there was some talk that went over my head a little bit, and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna I love how passionate you are about this, so I'm just going to keep listening. And it was amazing to see just how much joy it really brings people. Yeah. So definitely.
So one of the vendors is actually created a Bionicle video game.
Really?
Computer game.
Yes, yeah.
And I have been set up, they've been there for 2 years now. So there must be some traction with it. And I really try to talk to them about it, and it's just over my head. I just can't follow it. But it's like a tabletop.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's
tabletop.
Red Star Gaming, I believe.
I think I talked to those guys last year, and they showed me the I guess it's the rules manual or the game manual or something, and I think it was about like an 1.5-inch 3-ring binder full of pages. And I was like, whoa, okay.
And then most themes have one table section, whereas Bionicle has
like three or four.
Yeah. So. All right. So best single. We'll finish up with this. Best single, or you could say two. Best mocks that you guys saw there. your favorite stuff that really just
Gotta
stood
check my
out
pictures.
That's
and
a good one.
inspired you. I'll start because I know what
Please.
mine were.
Yeah.
I always like seeing the G.I. Joe setup. There's this one guy that I'm a huge G.I. Joe fan, and he's got this massive G.I. Joe setup. So I always like seeing the G.I. Joe setup. And then the Jedi Temple was off the charts. I like the Shining one. I like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles
Shining was
layer.
really
Some
good.
of these smaller mocks, they just get overlooked. Like it took me like 5 laps to actually see the turtle layer, but it was really well done. And you don't see turtle mocks very often. And then, of course, my favorite one would have to be Stefan Fermento's
Oh my god.
Asian-inspired city, which
Wow.
is just an amazing feat that he's got going on there.
I could have looked at that for all 5 days and
I
not
did,
found
yeah.
and not found like 40% of the
So that's,
scenes.
that's
that were
the
hidden
only
in
problem
there.
with it. It's hard to take pictures of because it's like, what angle do you take a picture of?
Right.
You know, it's and it's also it could be challenging to see too because of that. So.
Simon Liu I saw on either Saturday night. It was probably Saturday night. He had a good camera and he was getting all around it in a different scene. So I'm hoping that maybe he'll eventually post some of those photos because I
Oh.
think he did a pretty thorough job.
And then, so World of Lights, it looked cool. It's
Oh,
where World of Lights is where they turn all the lights off and light up all the mugs. The Great Ball contraption, they let us use the remote control and push the balls with a skid steer.
Yeah.
And I've never seen that at a convention before in the Great Ball contraption.
Like an interactive.
Yeah, and they said they were going to let the public do it. So they just let anybody take the remote control and you're part of the Great Ball contraption and pushing those balls to the next level, which is really neat. So that was my favorite. Daniel?
Yeah, I
You can't
probably
say your
have a
own, by
few.
the way.
No, I can't say that.
Well, now that you mentioned it.
I might do the same.
A lot of the same ones you said, but I'll pick some different ones. There was a Tron build that was really well
Oh, yeah.
done. It was like the whole arena with at least like 6 light cycles, several of the different vehicles and craft, even some of the the classic Tron light bikes. Really well done from a technical standpoint and an overall impression standpoint. The Shining one was really great. There was a ship that I was surprised didn't win Best Watercraft. It was built into like a sculpted wave, and if you went up and talked to the guy, he also had a remote control. He could aim the guns on the top of this destroyer
No
ship
way.
and fire the missiles like at he would stand there and he would like shoot you in the. I think we did it during the
Whoa.
It was
live stream
awesome.
we did.
Yeah.
That was incredible.
I'd be shooting people all day.
Chris would just be
They're
there.
little rubber-tipped bullets. They're made for children. They're not going to hurt anybody. Gosh,
We're all like
let's
looking.
see.
So for like every because there's so much to see.
I'll go ahead and say one more then. The giant ships, the pirate ships, and then the entire Caribbean mock that with the Islanders little island and
Yes.
stuff.
Yeah,
Jason
Charm
Miller's,
City.
yeah.
So-
Charm City, yeah.
I think
yeah.
that was the Charm
I mean,
City
I could go
one.
on and on, but that's it
Yeah.
for me.
One of the other small ones that sticks out in my head was somebody had done one where they used the mummy canister from Adventures. They had like built it into a desert
That was
scene,
fun.
so it looked like it was like poking out like a ruin or something.
Hunter
That's
Erickson's
very fun.
build, yeah.
Was that who- yeah,
That's his, yeah.
Nice, that was a good one.
Very good one, yeah. I remember seeing that over on Flickr like a couple months ago when he first finished it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
he
cool.
actually bought that canister at Brickfair last year.
Oh, nice.
And he told, like when I walked over there and asked him about it, he's like, "Yeah, he built it into the build. It was from last year." So
Did
it
he
was-
knew that was what he was going to do with it back then?
No,
Did he-
he just liked the canister, and then like
Gotcha.
he told me, he built the whole scene around that, which was really good. I like that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm still thinking right now. So if you guys would like to go first, go ahead.
I agree with you, Chris. The cyberpunk city that was insane, and the fact that it had so many lights in it, and like in World of Lights, it was like on a whole other level sort of thing. There was this like cantina mock that was made by Mr. Mob Lobster 10, if you want to follow him on Instagram. And he was a lovely person. His name was Levi. He's so kind. It's awesome. It's sort of like Star Wars What If of like if Rio and Beckett and people from the solo Star Wars movie owned like a cantina, and it was really well built and packed with all these like brilliant minifigures and characters. It was so like just filled with life. I loved it. I agree the Jedi Temple was awesome. There was an Endor mock close to that, which was good, and then your Endor mock, which was also really good. And
Don't zoom in on the blushing. That's gonna start happening.
he's zooming in now. You can see it. The other one, in terms of Bionicle, his name's Wummy World on Instagram. He built this beautiful like red dragon with like sitting in clouds, like these like cloud wings and stuff. It was gorgeous. He also made, it's one of my favorites, this like snow wolf, and he used some of these like icicle pieces from a Bionicle set called Strack, and it looks like fur, and it's just gorgeous. It's so well crafted. It's a brilliant mock. I mean, there were so many good Bionicle mocks there, but those really stood out for me.
The Bionicle skull.
That was cool.
The
by
human skull.
Grayson. Yeah.
So awesome.
Yeah,
nice.
And the cat head.
Yeah, that was great too. Yeah, for sure.
And the peacocks.
Yeah, Peacock. Which one as well? Yeah.
Yeah, they were
Chris,
nice.
just keep
Yeah.
rattling on.
Yeah.
Oh, and this one.
Yeah. I wish I knew the name of it. It was near Hunter's Mock with the canister. It was sort of towards the back, very close to the vendors. They built this military mock that had this awesome landscape that just had this beautiful curve to it. And it was a bunch of kids building it, and they were still building it even into the public hours, and they kind of finished on the last day. I wish I knew their names. I'm really sorry. I was trying to credit people.
I know where you're
I think
Yeah.
I know.
I saw
right
that.
over
Yeah.
the brick top table,
Yes,
right?
yeah. And the landscape on it was gorgeous. Like it had so many like angles to it, and it was just a whole nother level with landscape. And I'm such a big fan of just gorgeous landscape in mocks. It was
I never
really
got
well
to
done.
see that because they were working on it
Yeah.
the whole time.
Yeah, it took them
Every
ages.
day
Yeah.
when you would show up at our table,
Yeah.
they'd still be there
Yeah.
working. We're like,
Yeah.
did they
Yeah.
leave?
Yeah.
Did they leave?
Yeah. No, it was really something special. Yeah, there was so many good things. Really. Yeah.
Speaking of working on it the whole time, I'll shout out one more build. It was a friend of mine that I had met last year. I think his account is Lego Lord's Workshop. He built Darrow from Star Wars.
Yeah.
And he had packed it in his car, and they drove from Michigan, and they were unloading it, and one of the crates tipped,
Ugh.
and it made a crashing sound. And he was there every day until they kicked him out at like 2 a.m. and he would get there and wait for Todd to show up to unlock the door at like 8 a.m. He worked
Oh,
every
man.
day,
Wow.
including the morning of Saturday before the public showed up trying to get it set up. He ended up getting nominated in the Star Wars category at least, which was really awesome to see. And I think some of the Empire Lug guys also gave him a gift or like an award kind of as a recognition of his commitment and dedication to that. So he's a good friend of mine.
Yeah, really good kid. Met him last year at Brickfair as well. Really good guy. His family, terrific people.
Yeah.
I could honestly, now that I've had some time to really think about it, go on all over like the place. Like the builds that you guys have mentioned were all fantastic. Stefan's Cyberpunk, and the people that got to work on that. Fantastic build, and just something that like I don't think the community has really ever seen for like a number of years. Like we've obviously seen these like large collaborations and whatnot being put together, but like that is on a different level. Like, you have lights going throughout the entire thing. You have a monorail that goes throughout the entire thing.
So
you have
Stefan-
screens and electronics. It's all over the place with that.
Obviously, it's very Asian inspired. And
Yeah.
He went. I'm pretty sure he went to Japan when he was graduating college. I've known Stefan for 10 years now from
Same,
Brickfair,
yeah.
Alabama.
Yep.
And he has firsthand experience being in an Asian city, and I feel like that inspired him to make that. So it's kind of neat seeing him tie that together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's also definitely a lot of like Blade Runner and Ninjago inspiration kind of going on in there as well.
So he came and he traded a lot of stuff. He's not too far away. It's like 2 hours away.
Yeah.
So he traded a lot of good stuff into us, and he had tons of store credit. And he sits and picks through our parts bins all day, and he brings me this little box of parts, and it ate up his entire store credit. It was all the rarest stuff. Chrome, trans stuff. Sand red. I mean, just the rarest stuff. And I felt terrible charging him that much money for it, but it's like, it's the only one we have, and it's just expensive stuff. And he has all that in the city. It's just everywhere. That city is very special.
Yeah. Does it feel good knowing you helped him make that?
Yeah,
Yeah,
for sure.
that's awesome.
For sure.
That's cool.
Some people were actually calculating like how much that city would be worth to like display or just even sell. I said I was like talking to some people about it. I said at minimum now $50,000. Like you couldn't
60 plus.
honestly more than that. Like
Yeah,
50
you
would
could
be
s-
minimum.
you could
Probably
be in the
more
six
than that.
figures.
Yeah,
But it's
yeah.
the parts usage
Parts
too,
alone.
because not everything is rare and expensive.
No.
He's using like.
But you're using time and effort to do all this. He
Yeah.
taught
Well,
himself how to do the lights that are in the streets. He taught himself like all that wiring and figuring all that out, putting that into the build. I mean, this is like 3+ years of work. Like this is a tremendous amount of work, and I think that should be totally rewarded when it comes to.
Did he win Bricky?
Unfortunately, he did not. No,
I
He did not win
believe
the
that.
win.
What?
Yeah, I know.
They
It
don't
was-
have
it was
a
a shock.
they don't have a category for that.
No, he won best lighted build at Brickfair, Alabama, from what I could recall or what I heard.
Oh, yeah.
And then they decided not to build or put the build under like an eligible Bricky because they won an award already, and I was like shocked. I thought,
Yeah, that
no,
should have been
I'm not sure if that's entirely
Best
true.
in
I
Show
think that
or
is,
something.
but like I was surprised. I was like, that should have won.
It should have
minimum
been
3 awards.
biggest
They
best.
added
bestest.
more to it, so I think it does qualify as a new thing, but it's
Yeah.
arguable.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a nuts thing. Like I know that if they were to show up with that, and they I think plan to do so, bring that to Brick World Chicago.
Oh.
I already said you guys are down
You're gonna
like
clean up.
clean out the awards for everybody. Like
Yeah.
there won't be any chance for anybody to
Yeah.
like win something. So
Stefan said expect something bigger and better.
yeah,
Wow.
Yeah.
it's going to be
Wow.
it's definitely one of those big creations. But like that's obviously one of the more notable ones. I mean, there's stuff all over the place from my fellow. Campaigner on the campaign trail as we did campaign for our Bricky Awards. Carter, my good friend, he and my friend Nathaniel, they did like a collab with another guy, Dominic from Salty Bros, and they did like some Kingsman related creations, fantastic builds, and fantastic people also to hang
Yes.
around with. Like I could talk all about them. Like just that's a whole area, but like great people. Their creations were fantastic. Obviously, I think you mentioned that with Russell now, and like his creation also fantastic with that build, and the amount of like effort that they put into like fix that it was fantastic.
Yeah.
Things over in military were great. I think you mentioned, or I forgot who mentioned it, but that build with the hill that's at the end, built by Vivolug, if I remember that correctly, also really good.
Awesome.
Then the right over next was Battle of Castillon, which is a really great creation with a lot of knights and whatnot. Also won a Bricky Award, but like it was all over the place. Like even the builds that these people brought along with them. So fantastic creations all around. So.
Jillian.
Well, since someone took Carter's, I have to think really quick. But yeah, like I said, the Salty Bros, they came out with some great, amazing mocks. One that I really enjoyed was an Avengers Tower, done by my friend Maticus. And this tower just had so much detail to it. And it was just every day just getting to go to like the table where we were at and see it was just awe-inspiring. Because I've also been looking at this on TikTok for like months and months. So getting to see it in person, I spent about a good half hour just looking at all the work he put into it and just admiring it, and just it's like that's a big thing, seeing everything online and seeing it in front of you in person. It's a whole different ballgame. You can zoom into your screen as much as you want, but seeing it in person and being able to do like a 360
Video and pictures cannot.
It cannot.
Do this stuff justice.
it cannot do it justice. So just getting to see this a beautiful, beautiful Avengers Tower in person was amazing, and just all around going to one of these like brick fairs is just truly inspiring. It's truly inspiring for anyone who wants to get into building mocks. It inspires anyone who's just like maybe they're not so sure, and like for me as someone who's like nervous to like go and display, it just shows how welcoming the community can be and how inspiring and how everyone motivates each other to really just go out there and just you can say I want to do this, I want to do it, just go out and just start building. That's really just what I can
and
say.
anybody can win a Bricky, as you guys see.
It's
Oh, they
just-
just let anybody in here now. Okay, wow.
Any hobo that
They
walks
just
in
let
the door,
anybody.
It's like I feel like the message that I definitely took away this week is just start building if you want to get into this. You don't have to be amazing right off the bat. You may not be amazing right off the bat, but just learning skills is just truly so rewarding. And just seeing everything just in this giant convention hall, I was ready just to start building on the plane, but I knew that would probably not be the best idea. Hit some turbulence and everything goes crashing down.
Nice.
Which is an interesting thought that a lot of people have had over the years, which is that are people more motivated to build after a convention, or do they just feel like, oh, I'm like, totally at the bottom of the list of like talented builders, so to speak? And I've like, there's a competition or several competitions actually going on this month, and I was like, hey, this is perfect timing for people that go to Brickfair, going to be totally motivated. So when they get home, they just want to crack out the bricks and just be like, all right, I want to build, and just go nuts with it. So
I was trying to remember, did I run into my house and say hello to my parents first, or did I run and go just start building with Lego and then remember, oh, I have to go say hi. I have to go let them know I got home.
Nice.
I would say the everybody's inspired to build something.
Mhm.
I always get inspired. I don't have time to build, so I build it in my head
Nice.
Yeah.
when I'm driving and stuff like that.
So you're building
built-
award-winning builds in
I
your head.
I
like,
have
okay,
built
I
so
see
many
it.
awesome stuff in my head.
Chris has
The
won so
last-
many brickies.
His
How
brickies.
many,
Yeah.
how many mental brickies do you have on your mental
That's
shelf?
mental bricky.
33.
In your mind palace?
Yeah, I built this killer ball rug.
Wow, I bet it was
Lights
great.
up. There's lava flowing in it.
Just
music.
It's like
really
Lego Movie
cool.
when they've got like all the blue pieces like floating
The
around their
master
brain.
building.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
master building sequence. Yeah.
The last mock I have to mention is the UFO with the light column of
Oh,
light
yeah.
over the
Yes.
Mayan
That was
temple.
really good.
It's just so memorable because the light is so bright.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
that was a great use of lights,
Yeah.
and then the whole idea of it.
Yeah.
The castle was really good because it used like all classic parts, and the sculpting on the terrain was phenomenal. I took some pictures of it for Angie for her winter village because it had a a train tunnel and stuff.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Just the way that people were displaying some of these things, like it wasn't just on tables. Some people, they was so big they had to go on the floor. There was one that was hanging by balloons, and I had to do a double take because I'm like, oh yeah, that mock's floating.
I didn't. See
That mock is floating.
Yeah.
they
Yeah,
should
were
have done
these-
some more colorful balloons. They were kind of like silver.
They were
so
these
they
silver
maybe
balloons,
blended into the
and
ceiling.
I just saw the balloons at first because I did not see until like we walked by, and I'm like, is that thing floating in the air? And I was like, okay, cool. So that happened, but it just the creativity that people have. It's like, yeah, I'm not gonna put my mock on the table. I'm gonna let it float.
Yeah, the kind of off the wall innovation, like things you would never even conceptually think about that have never been done before, is the stuff that I like to see. Like a sea serpent with smoke coming out of its mouth. That would be another good example.
I wonder who built
Something
that.
that's probably never been done before. But
That could look
that
pretty,
kind
sure.
of really just thinking outside the box is stuff you only see at these kind of conventions.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That's all I had. Do you guys have any parting thoughts?
I was gonna say, we're all obviously very, very deep in the Lego community, but for people who are maybe not as much so and don't want to or can't afford to spend, the $90 or $100 registration fee, go for the public days.
Go at least for the public
Everybody
days.
that I know that I've told about, that's a family friend or somebody with kids, they go and they said, we had no idea this was here. We're going to come back every year. We're telling all of our friends and all of our family they've got to see this.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
insane.
Yeah.
There were a lot of new people there as far as the public goes.
Yeah.
Because we've been doing this for a long time now, and I see the same faces coming back. In fact, this Cladno, I got this rare minifigure from a kid who I remember from 3, 4, 5 years ago.
Wow.
And he's like this tall now, and it was a great transaction. It was cool getting to see him again, but he was there for the public. He wasn't there as an exhibitor. So.
Growing up in that area in Northern Virginia, I saw people that I had known but hadn't seen in years, but that are my age coming for the public days. People from my high school, people from my Boy Scout troop, people that showed up that, I haven't talked to, and they were like, wait a minute, that's you. And I was like, oh, that's you. And, I just,
That's
it was crazy. But,
Yeah.
they're getting back into Lego, the same as everybody else, at least from the public perspective, and wanting to come and see it and engage with it at least, even if they're not into building.
Yeah. On that, I think something else that's really important is like, even if, I don't know, maybe you feel more self-conscious about your mocks, which is a real thing, because when you see the incredibly high level of quality that some builders have, it can be daunting. And it was funny during Adult Swim, which is the drinking night, when some builders were a little bit more intoxicated. That's when the truth came out. And they're like, "I hate you. You have such good builds. I feel so insecure when I post. I wish I was as good as you." And Like, they were very friendly about it. It wasn't, it wasn't like something
No
was happening.
beef.
No. But it was just interesting to be like, oh, other people have that insecurity too when they post online. Because of course I do. Everyone does, I'm sure. So it's just interesting to hear other builders have that and be like, cool, like I'm not alone. But on a side note, like, if you just stand by your mock and you just listen to like kids or adults from the public who come in and are like, whoa, that's so cool. That as well is really humbling and nice, because like if you can like really like capture the imagination of a kid or an adult who's never really looked at Lego before, that's also its own sort of like special thing. And even when it's on other people's mocks, like there'd be times kids would be like, whoa, Star Wars, like wow, and like it's still really cool to see that kids are having that amazing time that you probably had when you were a kid and went to your first convention, or at least that I'm maybe talking for myself there, but you know, that in itself I think is also really special, and it's certainly something I saw at Brickfair, which was really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely with the community, it really just shows like you're not alone. There are so many people out there who just love Lego so much. So going to one of these things, you really just are surrounded for like, whether it's just the public days, you're like the Saturday and Sunday, or if you're there as an exhibitor and you're there with the opportunity for like 5 or so days, just surround yourself by all these people who are so interested in like, you all have this hobby. It's just very just like mentally relaxing. You're like, okay, this is a thing. I don't have to be shy about this. I don't have to like keep this as one of those things that's like a skeleton in the closet. This is definitely something that reminds you, just bring it out. Everyone, there's so many people who are in love with this, and there's a great community surrounding it. So don't be shy around people. That's what I had to remind myself. I had to be like, I can go up and say hi. We are all here, and we all like Lego. I have nothing to be shy about, even though I was. But then you make amazing friends after you break out of that little bubble.
That's cool.
Yeah, I took a major thing away because this is my 30th event actually.
Wow.
Yeah.
Happy
This is
30th.
thank you. The thing I took away from this and is that don't be peer pressured into doing things at a convention, because I used to be peer pressured all the time, and you'll still have those small moments when you're peer pressured into doing something, obviously, but like I realized at this event that like being by yourself, or just also like having some alone time, just for even if it's for like 5 or 10 minutes, can be very, very good for you, because that can just bring you back up to an even higher point. Because I realized yesterday when I was coming back with Benjamin, actually, we were driving down, I was realizing, I was like, I'm socially pooped out. Like, it was weird. I was socially pooped out. I was just like, wow, this is interesting. Like, and then I took that time. You obviously need sleep after this, because you barely get sleep at these things.
No sleep at Brickfair.
I got, before we drove down yesterday, I got like 2 hours of sleep. That was it. It was not good. But definitely the time there was worth that like sacrifice, if you even want to put it that. I don't even see it as that. I just see it as, hey, you're spending as much time as possible with the people that are there, and you also shouldn't. You shouldn't be peer pressured into doing things and to go in places, because at the end of the day, you're also still human, they're human, and like no matter what they end up doing, you also have to realize that you need some time for yourself, and you also need time to be with other people, because that can just change your perspective on like what is going on.
Absolutely.
I used to be peer pressured all the time, and now I'm just like, hey, I just want to do what I want to do consistently, and if it means also hanging out with people, like let me just vibe away. Let me just go in the direction where everybody else is sort of going at times, but not in the sense of being peer pressured into going that direction. Let me just follow the flow a little bit. That's also good.
I peer pressured Daniel a lot. Daniel at the convention kept trying to get him to drink this V8 juice.
Oh my.
Oh, interesting.
Chris swears I don't eat vegetables.
Now, Chris, I think that could be a cool video we make on like Brick Convention Guide 101.
Yeah.
How to
think
take
that'd be a
care of
cool
yourself.
video.
How to take care of
how to
yourself.
Eat,
Yeah.
sleep.
Eat, sleep.
Etiquette around mocks. Just making sure. Just,
Oh my gosh!
Just mock
This one
etiquette.
guy had one of the castle guys. I'm sure you saw this. Had a list that answered every single question people ask.
Yep.
How many pieces is this? Blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
How long did this take me? Blah
my
blah blah
gosh.
blah.
Wow.
And you could tell he just didn't want to talk to anyone. It's like, here's the answers. There they are. Don't ask me anything.
There was one
Video
guy
playing.
who had a T-shirt, but it was one that anybody could wear. It was like No, I don't know how long this took me. No, I don't know how many pieces are in it. No, you can't touch it. No,
No
I didn't make
instructions.
instructions. You know, things like that.
We need to make a T-shirt, a convention T-shirt that has
Yeah.
all that stuff on it.
Yeah.
Yes.
That'd
Or
be
just
great.
like this
That would
first
sell.
like
So
brick
good.
convention or something like that.
Yeah. I've I don't know if you've ever done it. I saw someone made a bingo sheet for conventions. So
Yes,
you
I
get
had,
Oh, yes.
I had one going on.
Yeah, no,
I had
oh,
one
man.
going at the
Yeah.
convention, and I had to pull
Yeah.
out my phone. I was like, okay, that
Yeah,
just happened.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
and then 5 minutes later,
Yeah.
I think so much so that I think I randomly at one point I went, bingo! And everyone around me was like, what is she talking about?
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
That's cool.
That's funny.
Mm.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for joining us, and maybe next year we'll have another recap for Brickfair 2023.
Sweet.
All right.
I'll be your flip.
See ya.